Welcome to YLL. It's your girl Jazz Young, and I'm back with another one. Y'all know I love to change my scenery up at least once in a while. I'm about to head to New York, but I just wanted to make sure y'all get this Motivational Monday. This is a movie review edition. I'm gonna just tell y'all this right now. If you haven't seen the movie The Forge, I highly recommend you go see that. My quotes for the day, I actually got three of them just because it's a movie. Got to have a little bit more, and it's crazy. It's not really quotes from the movie. It's just quotes that I like. It's like, man, this is what we have to go with. Have faith and walk out on it. That's my first lesson, my first quote for anybody for the Forge. Just in general, let me just give y'all a background on the Forge. The Forge is a spinoff of the War Room. So if you haven't gone and seen the War Room, check out the War Room. Kind of gives you an idea how the Forge is gonna go. It's a Sony picture. It was released in August, so I'm a little upset that I waited until December to receive this message, receive this word. But it's okay because things like that happen. And it was released on Netflix in December. I think we should give Netflix some credit. Netflix definitely, I think, have a nice group of movies. Like Netflix makes sure they have every single thing, and I appreciate them. Especially when it comes to like the Christian movies. Just if it's based off religion, they have like Netflix has like a little bit of everything. So shout out to Netflix. But with this movie, I thought that, I say 10 out of 10, highly recommend. One, because it talks about God, and if you know me, you know I love the Lord. So it's like any opportunity that we get to like hear about God and like a film wise, oh, I'm here for it. I wish I would have known about the movie in August because I probably would have went to the movies to see it. Did pretty well in the movie theaters. A lot of people like it. As I said before, my first quote is "Have faith and walk out on it." That's one of the things that I think it was just one of the biggest lessons for Isaiah in the sense, just him receiving an opportunity and just how the business owner, how he just thought about things and how to do things. A lot of it was just based off of God. It was based off of him having faith and him just walking out on faith. And you'll see how throughout the movie, you'll see how God is moving, and you'll see how the faith, like what they prayed for, they started to receive, but it came with faith and walking out on it. So that was like something I was saying, like, yeah, Jazz, like, yo, we gotta start walking, and we gotta start having faith and walking out on it. And with walking out on it, it means like we had to get the work done. Yes, everybody says, faith with no works is nothing, but works in my opinion, it looks like uh working within it. It don't always mean you gotta be out there pounding and pounding. Having faith is even working on your faith as you're having the faith. That's working on things. A lot of times, I think the biggest action we have to do is walk out on it. You know what I mean? A lot of times we'll say here, you gotta do the work, gotta do the work. Now you gotta just walk out. You don't. Yes, we got the wrong W. Like we just have to walk out on faith. Yes, you're gonna work. If you walk out on faith, what you doing? You working. Like that's what people fail to realize. So I think one of the biggest parts of the movie for me, is that lesson is having faith and walking out on it. Because I think everybody in the movie had faith, and the biggest work they did was walk out on faith. Yeah, they worked on their relationship with God. It was getting closer. There was in their word more. That's what faith is about to me. And then the works that come with it is doing it, is walking out on it, is, hey, I have this crazy idea. I have this crazy thing I believe in, and I believe in it so much that I am going to have faith that is already worked out. That I'm gonna go ahead and walk out on it and do what I say I need to do. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons for me. Another biggest lesson is, do what is needed and watch God work. Which once again, I think what's needed is walk out on faith and then watch God do the work. Like watch God work. God is gonna move in your life, and I think like for Isaiah, one of his biggest things when he first started, he was mean. He was a mean sucker, y'all. He was mean. But I think he was just mean because he didn't trust nobody. Nobody believed in him. Nobody poured into him. Yes, we can sit here and say his mom was pouring into him, but his mom was nagging him. His mom wanted something that he just didn't know how to get. And she didn't know how to give it. She didn't know how to get it for him in a sense of teach him how to get it. So it's like what he yearned for, he didn't have. And instead of people trying to help him or pour into him or find him those resources, in his mind, everybody was just kind of against him. And I think that was like the main part of the movie. It was just like, you gonna have moments where there's gonna be people against you. You're not gonna have the resources that you need. But when you do what's needed, when you work out, when you walk out on faith, right? When you go ahead and put your hand in that basket and say, you know what? I don't know what I need, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna figure it out. Watch God work. I'm trying to tell you, that's what Isaiah did. His mom said, listen, you need to go get a job. She didn't really give him an ultimatum. But, at the end of the day, this is what she thought she needed to do. Mind you, mom is a prayer warrior. So mom was like, listen, I need to call my prayer warriors from the war room. Spinoff. It was just like, Mom, I need to call my prayer warriors. They came and they prayed, okay? My mom Dukes is supposed to be doing hair and she was over here praying. And she was supposed to be doing somebody's hair, and then it was one moment in the movie where they was praying and somebody came to get their hair done, and mom said, you need your hair done or you need to pray. The sis said, I need both. Pray for my edges or something like that. Like, I just think like funny moments in movies are always great, especially when a movie is such a deep movie. You have to have those moments of like laughter, because like anything, you gotta laugh to keep from crying. But sometimes you just need to cry. So I just thought that was one of like the ideas. Was just like, yeah, okay, I see you working, God, with the funniness. But that was one of the things, he had to go get a job. He got a job, but the person that gave him the job gave it to him based off of his pace, based off of what he was ready for. Any of us, if you're a true hustler, somebody say you want a full-time or part-time job, you might say a full-time. But because of his mindset and where he was at, he said part-time. And that man didn't try to force him. He gave him an opportunity based off of what he was ready for. And then he invited him, which lead me to the next thing is, you don't always got to go to church to get God in your life. You don't always got to feel like you're at a certain building, a certain house to receive God in all ways. The Bible does say when there's two, that's the church right there. You only need two people. And sometimes I just say you need one. You need you and God. You all right. You feel me? You don't need all that. And I think that was one of the things I did appreciate from this movie is it wasn't based off of him going to church. It was based off of him going out there and finding something, and he found an opportunity, but he found someone who was in a space of like wanting to help people and wanting to do different things. That is where he was at. Like, I like to have something like that, just be like, all right, I'm gonna just go, let me find a job. And then the man that you find a job with just want to see you win, trying to see you succeed, and they're gonna do it at your pace. That was one of his biggest things that I think, Isaiah in a sense got it is like, just like similar to how his mom found her prayer warrior, he found his prayer circle. He found people that were gonna pray with him, hold him accountable, challenge him, pray for him. And he didn't know what he needed until he met um Joseph, like until he met the main guy. So I think that was his name, Joseph. I could be wrong. Mm. His name is such a prophet name. I can't. I think it's Joseph. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me to lie, y'all. But excuse me, the owner, he was that guy that wanted to help young men, just wanted to help men in general. And this is how you know God moves in certain people's lives in a certain way. The first person this man helped was the man that killed his son. Like, you know how I already talked about forgiveness. The level of forgiveness you gotta do to pour into someone that just took something away from you, your only son, your only child. Like, yeah, God, I want you to move in my life like that. You feel me? And that's it comes to my last one is have a village. I think that we all need a village. We always talk about how it takes a village to raise a child. But I really do think it takes a village to just keep that child alive, to keep that person alive. As much as we get older, yes, we get wiser, yes, experience help us, but we're not as old as the next person, right? So it's like there's somebody that's older than us. It takes a village, and so him having those mentors really changed his life from the year to the year when you look at when the movie started to how the movie ended. And a lot of it went with him walking out on faith, everyone, and then him, people believing in his works and what he was doing, and they walked out on faith. Having a good boss where, listen, my boss is not here, but my boss needs this done. We all gonna walk out on faith. And I really do challenge us as just people in general is make sure we have a village. Make sure we have a village. We all need that type of support, connection, and love. We all need somebody praying for us. We all need to be praying for someone. We all need people to pray with. We just need people to help us, throughout life, and me personally, I always talk about this. I recently talked about this. It's like, I want some old head friends. Like, I'm tired of the young folks. Like, no, I'm not tired of y'all. I really do love y'all. But like, I want those old head mentors. And I'm getting some. Don't get me wrong. I am receiving a lot. And I do have some already. But I want some ones that that don't know me for a specific thing. Like, I don't want somebody that's like, oh, I know Jazz the Delta, or oh, I know Jazz that went to UD, or I know Jazz that did this. Like, no, I want somebody that don't know Jazz and they're getting to know the person Jazz would like to be, and they're pushing that. Like those type of mentors. Something that that village that I think he received. He had a group of people that not necessarily, I don't want to say see your potential, but he had a group of people that saw him for who he was, asked him who he wanted to be, and then challenged him and held him accountable to reach that goal. And we all need people like that in our lives. And I challenge us all to go look at The Forge. It's a tearjerker. It's definitely going to have you in tears. If you haven't seen War Room, you might want to see War Room first. I think War Room gives you more of that woman aspect. We all need a room, where we could praise God and give God all the honor and the glory. My room used to be my car. But unfortunately, I had to get rid of the car, so I gotta find me a new prayer room, but a new war room. But when you're gonna battle things in life, and when things are not gonna always be what you need them to be, or defined as what you need them to be, you always need a place to go talk to God in. And then, with the Forge, yes, it focused on a young man. And I challenge all young men, if you got a young son, challenge them to watch it. Especially if you're big on God and wanting your child to understand who God is and how God worked. I think that it'll be a great, great movie recommendation for anybody who with a son, but anybody just in general. I think that we all can learn a little something from this movie. I know for me, like I said, have faith and walk out on it. That's what we doing all 2025. I'm big on faith. There's a lot of things that I've said over the years, but we're walking out on it. That's where the work really comes in. Is when you walk out on it and keep the faith, keep doing your works. It's like those 3 P's: preach, pray, and praise. As long as you're preaching, you're praying, and you're praising, I think you're pretty good. And preaching don't mean out here telling the next person. To me, it doesn't mean to go tell the next person. It's just, to me, about learning the Bible, reading the Bible, and interpreting it and understanding it. And then if you do decide you want to preach it, really, really preach to how people view the word preach, then you're able to do that because you understand it. Uh, so that's what we're doing all 2025. I hope you guys are doing that too. Have your faith, keep it, believe it, but most importantly, walk out on it. And walking out on it, man, you'll see how God will work. You'll see what God will do. You'll see how God will move in your life. The work could be as simple as praying every single day. Like we take work as, I gotta be out here doing this and that. Man, let me tell you, if you have faith and you walk out on it, you'll see how God work. Like that's really what it is. And make sure y'all have a village. Make sure you have people that are gonna hold you accountable, people that are gonna challenge you, people that are gonna love you, people that are gonna support you. Make sure you have those different types of connections. And if you don't, just pray about it, and I guarantee you, God will make it happen for you. With that being said, this is Motivational Monday. I go recommend every single one of y'all to go check out the Forge if you haven't already done so. I love and I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know. Peace.